At a very early age, Thanksgiving became associated with travel and family, something I'm sure I have in common with many people. On the morning of the fourth Thursday in November, my family would pile into my father's great station wagon and make the hour journey to our grandparents' condo in Milford. I can still vaguely recall their house, lovingly referred to as Pine Top, a single-story ranch-style home, rustic red, or was it yellow, with the most uneven floors I've ever known. It was the house our father and his siblings grew up in. Our grandparents used to have the most amazing music box collection. It covered their entire living room, and I would spend hours there, cranking each one up, trying to get them all going at the same time. When I finally reached the last one, the first one would already have stopped playing. I can't recall spending any Thanksgivings there. They moved long before I was making solid memories, although I'm certain I did. But I still remember those crooked rooms and the sound of those music boxes. Late morning we would roll into the driveway, my aunt's car already there. We'd be greeted at the door by our grandparents and aunt, and smothered in hugs filled with love that was not always expressed in voice. The adults would tromp off to do whatever it was that adults do during the holidays, gossip about the news, cook, something boring like that, while Robert and I would scamper off to play or cause trouble. Kid stuff. The Macy's Day Parade was always playing in the background, but I don't remember anyone watching it. A comment here or there to highlight something that flashed on the screen, but to my memory it was never a focal point. Thanksgiving dinner was an event, usually served around 4 o'clock. With the exception of a few minor exceptions, the spread was the same from year to year. Turkey, mashed potatoes, green beans, steamed carrots, mashed sweet potatoes with marshmallows baked on top, canned cranberry sauce I don't think anyone ever ate. Dessert would be real pumpkin pie, which is where my love of all things pumpkin comes from. The dishes were to be served to the right, for that was proper, according to my grandmother. That would last for maybe 2 minutes before someone would get impatient and pass across the table in what was usually a well-orchestrated exchange, much to my grandmother's dismay. This happened every year, but it didn't stop her from trying. My grandmother was an amazing cook, and Thanksgiving was her holiday. When she started getting older and health started to decline, instead of trying to remove her from the kitchen, our mother and aunt became her hands and eyes. My grandmother would sit in her chair and give directions, only to get up every 5 seconds to, in my father's words, futz with something. Dinner was always punctuated with discussion of politics and economics. I swear my family covers more in one dinner than CNN does in a year. These debates would rage for hours, and I remember not enjoying them. It was all boring grown-up stuff. We also celebrated Thanksgiving with my mother's family, but when I was young, I didn't think of it as real Thanksgiving, because it was often celebrated a week or more after. My mother's family was larger, and the house felt small, but it was always filled with love and connection. It always felt so busy. We had so many people there that 2 tables were required, one for the adults and one for the children. It was some sort of rite of passage that our cousins and I had to go through. One year you would be plucked from our fun, safe little table to sit with the adults and leave the children behind. I don't know if the adults in our family realized how big of a deal it was when Mike, my eldest cousin, was first invited to the adult table. He was only a year older than me, but after that day he always appeared older. And perhaps that's a big part of what Thanksgiving means to me. It marks a time when I transitioned from being a child to being considered an adult. Maybe that's naive of me, perhaps it's inaccurate, but that is how it seems in my mind. Being welcome to sit with the adults, or the first time mid-dinner debate my grandfather turned and asked my opinion on the topic. That is when I remember realizing that I was growing up. It's a time of tradition and thanks, but it's also a milestone, a marker placed in every year of my life. November 2005, my life changed. A week before Thanksgiving, my grandmother died. That year, we still gathered and tried to do everything as normal as possible, in honor of my grandmother. I think we may have even left her seat empty in a place set for her. I honestly can't think of a more perfect celebration for her. The following August, my grandfather died, and I still don't know how to express that loss. Thanksgiving and Christmas didn't feel like holidays that year, or the next several years after. They were often marked as sharp reminders of what was. I doubt they will ever feel the same again. As children, we are often looking forward towards the future. When I grow up, I'm going to be this or do that. We build elaborate plans and fantasies in our heads about what that might look like, with very little consideration of how exactly to get there. When you become an adult, you've been running forward for so long that we become stuck between past and future, romanticizing how things used to be. When I was young, we used to go to my grandmother's house for Christmas. And at the same time, we're looking forward, still trying to build that future we are running towards, but it keeps slipping away ever distant into the future. For a long time, I didn't think I would ever enjoy the holiday season again. As the years passed, we started celebrating Thanksgiving differently. We stayed home, and extended family came to us. No one bothered to put the parade on the telly. The canned cranberry sauce was often forgotten in the market, and no one bothered to pass the plates to the right. It took a couple of years for the shock to wear off, and I really have to thank my parents, who suffered in silence and really tried their best to give us kids the best holidays they could. Now we found new ways to celebrate that holiday, while finding ways to honor the old. My grandparents, keeper of the holidays, are not forgotten, but are honored in stories. Like Vikings of old, their memories live on. Traditions are what connect us to the past. They shape our childhood and give us something to look forward to as adults. Life is ever in flux, and I think as we get older, we often are pulled in both directions. Days like this are important. I encourage you all, just for one day, let go of the past and the future, and just be in the here and now. Those ventures are for normal days. There's at least 364 other days in this year to worry about the future and regret the past. But today, live for now. I'm going to spend the day with my family, making new memories and celebrating the old, and enjoying every second of it. I know that is how my grandparents would have done it, and that is what I'm thankful for.
Turn the music up. Okay. Sit on the couch. And a happy Thanksgiving to you, sir. Is this an okay time? Okay, fantastic. I have Robert here with me. Hey. Hi. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'm very thankful for this project between the three of us. Eric is here via the phone. He says hi. And I'm very thankful to be able to share my thoughts and feelings in this way. From our family to the yours, we wish you a very happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy.